Okay, this is a discussion on Chapter 12, Enhancing a Document. Word documents contain much more than text. Elements such as tables, illustrations, graphical headlines, and formatted headings can be used to enhance your documents. Alright, so if we talk about a table is a grid of horizontal rows and vertical columns, and it's a useful way to present information that is organized into categories. For example, you can use a table to organize contact information for a list of clients. For each client, you could include first name, last name, street address, city, state, and zip. Tables are organized into columns and rows. The box at the insertion of a column in a row is a cell. The row at the top of the table is the header row. Typically contains the labels for the columns so you know what type of data each column has. So if we work on that, we're going to open up a document from our Chapter 12 folder. So if you haven't downloaded that data files folder yet, you need to do so. Click Open Other Documents. It will allow you to navigate to your folder. Alright, you have a table document. That's the one we want to open. And we're going to resave it as class table. So you're going to do a file, save as, class table. Alright. We want to display our non-printing characters, so just toggle those on. In the body of the letter, position the insertion point in the second paragraph, which is the blank paragraph, right here. On the ribbon, click the Insert tab. In the Tables group, click the Table button. A table grid opens with a menu at the bottom. Point to the grid to highlight 2 columns and 5 rows. As you move the pointer across the grid, word indicates the size of the table at the top of the grid. Alright, and a live preview of the table is displayed in your document. When 2x5 table appears at the top of the grid, click the grid to create that table. An empty table with 2 columns and 5 rows is inserted in your document, and the insertion point is in the upper left cell. The 2 columns are the same width. Because non-printing characters are displayed, each cell contains an end of cell mark, and each row contains an end of row mark. The Table Tool Design and Layout contextual tab will appear on the ribbon. So we're going to continue with entering table data into our table. With the insertion point in the upper left cell, type class. As you type, the end of the cell mark moves to the right to accommodate the text. Press the Tab key to move the insertion point to the next cell, which is the cell on the right. Type time. Then press the Tab key. Because the insertion point was in the last column, it moves to the first cell in the next row. Type the following information in the table, pressing the Tab key. We're on page 388 in your book, item 4 for that set of instructions. Remember to press the Tab key to move from cell to cell. Okay. Now we're going to talk about selecting parts of a table. If you work with tables, you need to be able to select their parts. You can select a cell, a row, or column, multiple rows or columns, or the entire table. To select parts of a table from the ribbon, Position the insertion point in a cell. Click the Select button in the table group on the Table Tools Layout tab, and then click the appropriate command. Select Cell, select Column, select Row, or select Table. You can also use the pointer to select parts of the table. To select an entire row, you point to the row in the left margin so that the pointer changes to an open white non-filled in pointer arrow, and then click to select the row. To select a column, point just above the top of the column till the pointer changes to a solid black arrow pointing down, and then click. You can also drag to select adjacent rows, columns, or cells, or use the Shift or Control keys while clicking to select adjacent and non-adjacent cells, rows, and columns. Okay. So if we move the pointer to the left of the top row in the table, so it changes to our little open white arrow, and then click, the top row will be selected. Point to the top of the first column so that our pointer changes, and click to select that first column. Alright, we're going to point to our table move handle, which appears above the upper left corner of the table, and we're going to click the table move handle, and the entire table is selected. You can click any cell in the table to deselect the table and place the insertion point in that cell. Alright, to insert rows and columns, move the pointer above the column border between the class and time columns. Your insertion point will change to a bar with an arrow on either side. Click the Insert control, and a new column is inserted to the left of the Insert control. Okay. Between the class and the time. The overall width of the table is not changed. The two original columns decrease in width to make room for the third column. In the new column, click in the top cell and type in day. Press the down arrow key and then put in the following days. Put in Monday, Thursday, and Wednesday. Make sure the insertion point is in the second cell in the last row. Click the Table Tools Layout tab if necessary. We're in Design, so we need to click the Layout. In the Rows and Columns group, click the Insert Above button. Okay, a new row is inserted above. Click in the first cell in the new row. Put in Contemporary. Thursday. And 7:30 to 8:30. Alright, position the insertion point anywhere in the last column. In the Rows and Columns group, click the Insert Right button. New column is inserted to the right of the time column, and all the columns are resized. In the new column type, in the top cell, put price. Oh, Control-Z, I did it too many times. Okay, put price. Okay. And then compare your screen to Exhibit 12-5 on page 390. Make sure to do Control-S and save your table that you've inserted. Alright, to delete the structure of a row, column, or the entire table, including its contents, you click in the row or column you want to delete, or anywhere in the table if you want to delete the whole table, and then click the Delete button in the Rows and Columns group on the Table Tools Layout tab. So position the insertion point anywhere in the JAS row. On the Table Tools Layout tab in the Rows and Columns group, click the Delete button. The Delete menu opens, displaying options for deleting cells, columns, rows, or the entire table. Click Delete Rows. The JAS row is deleted. Position the insertion point anywhere in the Price column. Click the Delete button again. Click Delete Columns. The Price column disappears. Okay, and your the width of the 3 remaining columns does not change, and the table no longer fills the width of the page. Do a Control-S and save at this point. We're going to do some changing of column widths now. Click anywhere in the table if necessary. On the ruler, anywhere in the table. On the ruler, move table column markers, indicate the width of each column. Point to the time column right border so that the pointer changes to the solid line with the double arrows there. Double click the time column right border, and the column border moves left so that the time column is just wide enough to accommodate the widest entry. On the Table Tools Layout tab in the Cell Size group, click the Auto Fit button and a menu will open. On the menu, click Auto Fit Contents. All the columns in the table will adjust. Point to the class right border so that the pointer changes to the bars with the arrows on either side, and then press and hold the mouse button. A vertical dotted line the length of the window will appear, and you can drag the class column right border to the right until the move table column marker on the ruler is at the 1.25 inch mark. The right border of the middle column did not move, so the middle column is now too narrow. Drag the time column right border to the right until it's at the 3.5 marker. Drag the day border to the right to the 2.5 marker. Okay, so that's the way your table now looks. Do a Control-S and save everything up to this point. Now we're going to format with table styles. You've already used styles to format text and paragraphs. Now we're going to show you how to do it with tables. On the ribbon, click the Table Tools Design tab. In the Table Styles group, click the More button and the gallery will open. The first style is the Plain Tables section is selected. We're going to scroll down and display the styles in the List Table section and click the List Table 1 Light Accent 3 style. Okay. Styles in the List Table section. Alright, List Tables. Table 1. List Table 1. And we want the Light Accent 3 style. The Table Styles gallery will close and the table is formatted with the style you selected. Alright, so aligning tables and text in tables. You can change the alignment of the entire table on the page, and you can change the alignment of text in your cells. To change the alignment of the table on the page, you will align it the same way you align a paragraph by using the paragraph alignment buttons in the paragraph group on the Home tab. So, click the Table Move handle to select it. On the ribbon, click the Home tab. In the paragraph group, click the Center button. The table is centered horizontally on the page. Select the Time column. On the ribbon, click the Table Tools Layout tab. In the alignment group, click the Align Top Center button. Align all the text in the time column is now centered in the cell. Compare your table to the one shown in Exhibit 12-9 on page 394. Alright. Now, you can set the orientation, the way the page is turned, for the pages in a document. A page set to portrait is taller than it is wide. If it's set in landscape, it is wider than it is tall. Alright, so we actually are going to use a different document to do this. We're going to use the flyer. So do Control S, and we're going to save our table, class table document, and we're going to close it. And I am going to stop the video here, and we will pick up with section 12-2, changing page orientation on page 394 in the second video.